Welcome back to another edition of Very Special Episodes. This time, we're looking at powerful TV episodes that tackled serious social issues, from grief and addiction to racism and abuse. These episodes didn't just entertain. They made us think, feel, and reflect on the real-world struggles people face every day. Whether it was Sesame Street helping families cope with loss, or The Incredible Hulk addressing child abuse, these shows weren't afraid to shine a light on difficult topics. As always, if you enjoy these deep dives into nostalgic and meaningful television, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Now let's take a look at some of the most impactful, very special episodes ever aired. Sesame Street. When Families Grieve. Few shows have handled grief with as much care and compassion as Sesame Street. In this special, Katie Couric and the beloved Muppets guide families through the painful process of losing a loved one, particularly focusing on military families who have lost a parent. The episode blends personal stories with practical coping strategies, offering comfort and support to children struggling with loss. The heartfelt interviews and candid discussions show that grieving is a natural, ongoing process, and that it's okay to express emotions, whether it's sadness, confusion, or anger. This special stands out not just for its educational value, but for its emotional depth. While Sesame Street has addressed difficult topics before, this episode provides a sense of healing and community for children dealing with grief. By presenting real families alongside the Muppets, the show reinforces that no one has to go through loss alone. It's a beautiful example of television being used as a force for good, helping children understand and process something that even adults struggle with. Full House. Under the Influence. In this emotional episode, Full House takes on the dangers of drunk driving when DJ's best friend Kimmy gets intoxicated at a fraternity party and insists on driving home. Recognizing the danger, DJ refuses to let Kimmy get behind the wheel and takes it upon herself to drive them both home safely. However, the next morning, Kimmy is furious and accuses DJ of ruining her night. Their argument takes a serious turn when DJ reveals that her mother died in a car accident caused by a drunk driver, making it clear that she wasn't just being overprotective, she was trying to prevent history from repeating itself. This episode is a standout because it delivers its message in a relatable way. It doesn't just say drinking is bad. Instead, it shows the real-life consequences of reckless decisions. Kimmy's anger and defensiveness reflect how peer pressure and denial can cloud judgment, while DJ's firm stance proves the importance of standing up for what's right, even when it's hard. The episode's ultimate takeaway, "Friends don't let friends drive drunk," is a message that remains just as important today.
Real love bursting out of every scene.
Family Matters, an unlikely match. This Family Matters episode begins with Urkel being bullied by Andre, the leader of a tough crowd at school. But when Urkel later learns that Andre has leukemia, he chooses to put their differences aside and help organize a bone marrow drive, encouraging fellow students to register as donors. Despite their past conflicts, Urkel's effort ends up saving Andre's life, leading to an unexpected friendship between the two. What makes this episode so memorable is how it highlights the importance of compassion, even toward people who may not have treated us kindly. It also brings awareness to the need for bone marrow donors, particularly in the Black community, where matches can be harder to find. Family Matters often mix humor with heart, and this episode is a perfect example of how the show used its platform to educate and inspire.
Life is such a sweet insanity. The more you learn,
The Hogan Family, the best of friends, worst of times. In one of the most powerful episodes of The Hogan Family, David learns that his childhood best friend Rich is dying from AIDS. Initially, David struggles to process the news, feeling a mix of fear, sadness, and uncertainty. With guidance from his Aunt Sandy, He educates himself about HIV and AIDS, and ultimately finds the courage to visit Rich in the hospital. Their emotional reunion serves as a reminder that true friendship means being there for someone in their hardest moments. This episode was groundbreaking for its time, airing at a moment when misinformation and stigma about HIV and AIDS were widespread. Rather than resorting to scare tactics, the Hogan family focused on empathy, education, and breaking down misconceptions. The episode ends with David speaking at a school assembly about HIV awareness, and the emotional weight is felt even more when he reveals that Rich passed away the night before. The show's use of Dionne Warwick's "That's What Friends Are For" over the final montage makes this one of the most touching and important very special episodes of the era. Empty Nest, Under the Gun. This Empty Nest episode delivers a chilling look at the dangers of gun violence, particularly when it comes to children. Harry befriends a young boy named Oscar, who confides in him that he's been bringing a gun to school for protection against bullies. Concerned for Oscar's safety and the potential for tragedy, Harry tries to talk to him about the risks, hoping to steer him away from relying on a firearm. Unfortunately, things take a terrifying turn when the gun accidentally discharges from Oscar's backpack and Harry is shot. What makes this episode so impactful is how it highlights the reality of gun accessibility among children and the unintended consequences that can follow. The story doesn't just focus on the immediate danger, but also on the broader issue of why kids feel the need to carry weapons in the first place. It serves as both a cautionary tale and a wake-up call about the importance of addressing bullying, mental health, and gun safety before tragedy strikes. The Wayans brothers, The High Life. In a humorous yet serious take on drug use, the Wayans brothers explores the dangers of peer pressure when Marlon befriends Rico Da Vinci, a rising movie star with a penchant for partying. Sean quickly becomes concerned that Rico is leading Marlon down a dangerous path, especially when he catches his brother smoking marijuana. Things come to a head when Sean lands Marlon an audition for a major movie role, only for Marlon to show up high and completely bomb his performance, proving Sean's point about how marijuana can derail opportunities. Like many 90s sitcoms, the episode wraps up with a straightforward anti-drug message, with Sean and Marlon delivering a PSA about the dangers of substance use. While the episode keeps its signature comedy, it effectively addresses the impact of making the wrong choices, particularly when it comes to career aspirations and friendships. The exaggerated but relatable portrayal of Marlon's downfall serves as a cautionary tale about how even casual drug use can have long-term consequences. Major Dad, Conduct Unbecoming. This Major Dad episode takes on the difficult subject of domestic abuse as the Major learns that his daughter Robin's boyfriend Joey is being physically abused by his father. Rather than standing by, the Major steps in to help Joey and his mother seek protection, connecting them with a family service center to ensure their safety. However, his intervention doesn't stop there. He confronts Joey's father directly, making it clear that he won't be able to see his family again until he gets help through counseling. The episode handles the subject with the seriousness it deserves, showing the importance of taking action when someone is in danger. It also highlights how abuse isn't always easy to recognize, and that victims often feel trapped or helpless. By portraying the Major as a firm but compassionate figure, the show reinforces the idea that offering support and resources can make a difference in breaking the cycle of violence. The Parenthood, I'm O-Tay, You're O-Tay. In this thought-provoking episode, Nicholas is assigned to dress as an influential Black figure for Black History Month. His family suggests prominent leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and Harriet Tubman, but Nicholas surprises everyone by choosing buckwheat from the Little Rascals. His family is horrified, seeing it as reinforcing a negative stereotype. But Nicholas defends his choice by arguing that the actor who played Buckwheat, William Thomas Jr., broke barriers for future black performers. The episode does an excellent job of exploring the complexity of representation in media. Through a dream sequence, Robert and Wendell experienced the limited roles available to black actors in early Hollywood, helping Nicholas understand why his family was so concerned. But rather than forcing him to change his choice, the episode allows Nicholas to explain his reasoning, ultimately turning the moment into a lesson on the history of black entertainers. It's a rare and nuanced look at cultural identity and progress in media representation. The Incredible Hulk, a child in need. This emotionally charged episode sees Dr. David Banner discovering that a young boy named Mark is being physically abused by his father. Despite Mark arriving at school with obvious bruises, his injuries are ignored by both teachers and the school nurse. Banner, unable to stand by, befriends the boy and attempts to intervene. But Mark's mother defends her husband, making it difficult to get help. When Mark accidentally spills his father's beer and is brutally attacked, Banner reaches his breaking point and transforms into the Hulk, stepping in to stop the abuse. What makes this episode stand out is how it addresses the cycle of abuse. When the Hulk physically pushes Mark's father around, he begins to relive his own childhood trauma and realizes he's become the very thing he feared. Unlike many abuse-focused episodes that simply punish the abuser, this one takes the more complex route of showing redemption. The father seeks help, and Mark is finally able to heal. It's a powerful message that highlights both the pain of abuse and the possibility of breaking the cycle. Little House on the Prairie, The Wisdom of Solomon. In The Wisdom of Solomon, Little House on the Prairie delivers a powerful lesson on racism and the limitations of kindness in the face of systemic inequality. The episode follows Solomon Henry, a young black boy who dreams of receiving a proper education. He runs away from home and approaches the Ingalls family, offering to work for them in exchange for schooling. The family, despite their good intentions, is unable to shield him from the harsh prejudices of the surrounding community. What makes this episode so thought-provoking is how it acknowledges the reality that sometimes, no matter how kind or welcoming individuals may be, societal structures and biases remain difficult to overcome. Solomon ultimately realizes that the dream he sought isn't attainable in Walnut Grove and returns to his family, a heartbreaking yet realistic resolution. The episode serves as a sobering reminder of the deep-rooted obstacles that marginalized communities have faced throughout history, emphasizing the need for real systemic change rather than just individual goodwill. That wraps up another edition of Very Special Episodes. This time we explored some of the toughest topics in television history: gun violence, drug use, domestic abuse, and racism. These episodes tackled serious issues in ways that educated audiences while still fitting within the framework of their respective shows. Whether it was Empty Nest warning about the dangers of firearms, the Wayans brothers addressing peer pressure, Major Dad advocating for abuse victims, or Little House on the Prairie confronting racial injustice, these stories left lasting impressions. A huge thank you to our Throwback Influencer members, Mary Gerald, Jeremy Bowen, Revan Lockhart, and iCritic. Your support means so much and it helps keep the nostalgia alive. If you want to get early access to videos 24 hours or more before everyone else, you can join for as little as $2 a month. And if you'd like to support the channel even further, check out our merch. Every purchase helps us continue making awesome throwback content. Which of these episodes do you remember the most? Are there others you think should be included in a future installment? Let us know in the comments. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into nostalgic TV. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep the nostalgia alive.